Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 4, text number 7, page 3201. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya ratmanam srijamayaham. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadaratmanam srijamyaham. Yada, yada, whenever and wherever, he, certainly, dharmasya, a religion, glani, discrepancies, bhavati, become manifested, bharata, will descend the bard, bhutanam, predominance, adharmasya, of irreligion, tada, at that time, atmanam, self, vidami, manifest, aham. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Yoga Swami Srila Prabhupada. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descend the Bharta, and a prominent rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. The word Srijami is significant herein. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation, because in accordance to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all the forms are eternally existent. Therefore, Srijami means that the Lord manifests Himself as He is. Although the Lord appeared on schedule, namely at the end of Dwapara Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th month of Manu and one day of Brahma, He has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations, because He is completely free to act in many ways at His will. He therefore appears by His own will whenever there is predominance of irreligion, irreligiosity, and a disappearance of true religion. Principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of the Vedas makes one irreligious. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. The Vedas are also accepted as really spoken by the Lord Himself to Brahma from within his heart. Therefore, the principles of Dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. These principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad-Gita. The purpose of the Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord directly orders. And the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita that the highest principle of religion is to surrender unto Him only, nothing more. The very principles push on toward complete surrender unto Him. Whenever such principles are disturbed by the demons, the Lord appears. From the Bhagavatam we understand that Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna who appeared when materialism was rampant and materialists were using the pretext of authority of the Vedas. Although there are certain restricted rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in the Vedas, people of demonic tendency still took to animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principle of non-violence. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they are described in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he's referred to by scriptures. It's not a fact that the Lord appears only on Indian soil. He can manifest himself anywhere and everywhere, wherever he desires to appear. In each and every incarnation, he speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. But the mission is the same, to lead the people to God consciousness and obedience to the principles of religion. Sometimes he descends personally, sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his own son or servant or himself in some disguised form. The principles of Bhagavad-Gita were spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter, to highly elevated persons because he was highly advanced. Was spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter, to highly elevate our persons because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 plus 2 equals 4 in a mathematical principle that is true in the beginning arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics. In all incarnations of the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. The higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the 4 orders and the 4 statuses of social life, as will be explained later. The whole purpose of the mission of incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances. Om Aryanataram Dasya Jana Jana Sakaya Sakshulimitam Zena Tasmei Shri Gurve Maha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dante Swa Padantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descent of bhakti and a prominent rise of real religion, at that time I descend myself. In 1965, Srila Prabhupada boarded the Jaladuta to come to America under the order of his Guru Maharaj to spread Krishna consciousness in the English-speaking world. Srila Prabhupada had only 40 rupees with him. At that time, it was equal $8. He said it was 2 hours spending in New York. But he had faith in his Guru's order of the Guru, the order of Lord Chaitanya, that this Krishna conscious movement could be spread. Lord Chaitanya predicted that the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra would be delivered, spoken, sung in every town and village in this world. So Srila Prabhupada also had 3 trunks of books with him. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam which he translated and purported before he got on the boat and published. So before departing, he sold a set of Bhagavatam to the captain of the boat, and the captain gave him $20. So he had a little money. But at that time, he had notified the Agarwals who lived in Butler, Pennsylvania, and they had sent a man from Traveler's Aid to assist Srila Prabhupada so he could come to Butler, Pennsylvania for a short time before. Anyway, he had some contacts in America. So Srila Prabhupada spent his whole life preparing himself to preach Krishna consciousness, and he wasn't going to compromise in any way. He went to America dressed as a Swami with white rubber shoes. No one in America at that time knew what a Swami was. But they advised Prabhupada that he'd have to wear pants and shirt and tie and eat with knife, fork, and spoon. The Prabhupada said, no, I'm not going there to learn from them how to be a materialist. I'm going there to teach them. So the Prabhupada was undaunted. So when he arrived in America, he had his 3 trunks of books, and he had to struggle. He went to Butler, Pennsylvania, then he went to New York, and finally he got a storefront on 2nd Avenue and started his Krishna conscious movement. So when Prabhupada knew that to be established as a religious organization, you have to be registered with the government. So one lawyer helped Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said we should call it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. But the man said no. The lawyer said it's better to call it International Society for God Consciousness. The Prabhupada refused that proposal because that's a vague term, and he wanted people to know that Krishna was God, and this is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So in this way, Prabhupada started his movement very slowly. He had finally got the place on 2nd Avenue. He'd go and do Harinam in Thompson Square Park for 3 hours every day. And eventually some young men came and some young women came to assist Srila Prabhupada and to join the Krishna conscious movement, even though nobody in America had ever heard of Krishna or Krishna consciousness or anything about bhakti-yoga at that time. So Krishna comes and there are many incarnations of the Lord. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyani Vyakulam Lokam Vridayanti Yuge Yuge. All the above mentioned incarnations are either planetary portions or portions of the planetary portions of the Lord. The Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect them. So Krishna is too Bhagavan Swayam. Brahma Samhita also confirms that Krishna is the original form of Godhead. what is being described here. So this Krishna consciousness movement and this science is a science and a philosophy that doesn't change. Whether it's a 2 and 2 is 4, that's a fact. Whether it's in the first grade or the advanced calculus course, the same fact, the same truth remains. But sometimes people want to argue and say that 2 and 2 is 5, or 2 and 2 is not always 4, but that doesn't make sense. Either people want to argue about absolute things. So Krishna consciousness movement is giving the absolute truth. And it says, Janma karma chame devyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyagvam deyam punar janma naiti mama eti suarjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, and attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So the Lord came at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, 28th millennium of the seventh Manu, in one day of Brahma. He came, so his coming, he doesn't, the word Sri Jami, it means he manifests himself. Krishna doesn't have to take birth in the womb like an ordinary child. He doesn't have to, there's no sex involved. Krishna can appear any way he likes. So, because Krishna has a spiritual body, and when he appears in his spiritual body, which is not in any way influenced by the 3 modes of material nature. So, here it says why, it gives the reason why Krishna comes. He comes to when there's irreligiosity and disappearance of true religious principles. And the religious principles are enunciated in the Vedas. And the Vedas were instructed to Lord Brahma, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikaye, spoken Lord Brahma in the heart. This way, the principles of the Bhagavad-Gita was spoken to Arjuna, was spoken to the sun god 100 million years ago, 120 million years ago. What is different, it is not always the same format as the Bhagavad-Gita we have here, but the principles are the same. And that is, Sarva Dharma Prikshaja, Mamekam Saranam Vraja, Ham Tvam Sarvapaveno, Mokshashami Ma Suchaha. That is the essence of Bhagavad-Gita, that everyone should surrender to Krishna, give up all rights of religiosity. And this means one should give up these Kaitava Dharma. There are different religions in the world, and there are different, they're based on faith. But you can change your faith. Faith can be, someone can be a Christian and change his faith, become a Muslim, or become something else. But this Krishna consciousness movement is Sanatana Dharma. It's the eternal occupation of the soul. It has nothing to do with the mundane faith. It's based on his tatvata, on truth. And just like the sun is there's a sun in India, there's a sun in America, there's a sun in China. But we don't say it's an Indian sun or American sun or a Chinese sun. The sun is the sun. In the same way, the soul is in every living being, is a spirit soul, Hum Brahmasmi. We're not this body. Every living being is an eternal servant of Krishna, Javar Sarupai, Krishnara Nichadas. So this is what the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So here it's described about Buddha. Lord Buddha was an incarnation, and it says every incarnation has a specific mission. Buddha came at a time when people seemingly no better than today. People were slaughtering animals in the temples in the name of the Vedas, just to eat animals. So Buddha came to teach ahimsa, or non-violence, and to lead the people away from the Vedas, which the sacrifices are recommended in the Vedas. But those sacrifices, when you kill an animal, if the sacrifice is performed properly, then the animal gets a human form or gets another animal body. It says both things. But they were just sacrificing animals and for eating them, not to rejuvenate them. And this was due to the degradation of Kali Yuga. So, in Brahma Samhita, it says, Ramadi Murteshu Kala Niyamena Tatistam Nanavantaram Akaro Bhuvaneshvar Kintu Krishna Swayam Samavat Paramam Pumamyo Govindamari Pusha Tamaha Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifests himself as Krishna and different avatars in the world in the form of Rama, Nrsinga, Brahmana, as his subjected portions. And it also says, Dipaichar evahi jashantaram abhyupetya Dipaye virita hetu samana dharma Yatadrik evahi cha Vishnu taya vibhati Govindam aripusha tamaham bhajami. The light of one candle being communicated to another candle, although it burns separately in them, is the same in quality. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who exhibits himself equally in the same mobile manner in his various manifestations. So in the Nectar of Devotion, it's describing incarnations. Jayadeva Goswami in his Gita Govinda has sung as follows: the Lord has saved the Vedas in the form of a fish. He bore the whole universe on his back as the form of a tortoise. He picked up the earthly planets from the water in the form of a boar. He killed Hiranyakashipu in the form of Nrsinga. He cheated Bali Maharaj in the form of Vamana. He has annihilated all the dynasties of Kshatriyas in the form of Parasuram. He's killed the demons in the form of Lord Ram. He's accepted the great plow in the form of Lord Balaram. He has annihilated all the atheistic persons in the form of Kalki, and he has saved all the poor animals in the form of Buddha. These are some of the descriptions of the incarnations emanating from Krishna. And from Srimad Bhagavatam, it's understood innumerable incarnations always coming out of the body of Krishna, just like waves in the ocean. No one can't even count how many waves there are, and similarly no one can count how many incarnations are coming from the Lord's body. So sometimes people want to say that Krishna expands from Vishnu because Krishna has 4 arms. Vishnu has 4 arms and Krishna has 2 arms. And because we have 2 arms, they say that Krishna must expand from Vishnu because he's the same as we are. But this is not substantiated in the Vedas. It's Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all the other incarnation expanses come from him. And this is the conclusion of all the scriptures. In Krishna, in the Jiva, there are 50 qualities that a living entity can have in full if he's a pure devotee. Then there's 5 other qualities which which some living entities have, but that Krishna also has. And that is possessing all mystic perfection, Krishna's inconceivable potencies, Krishna's body generates innumerable universes. He's the origin of all incarnations, and he gives salvation. He gives salvation to, so these 50 qualities are there, and then 51, 52, 53, 54 are qualities which are manifest in the bodies of Lord Shiva and some living entities. But then there's 4 qualities which are manifest in the body of Narayan. Krishna, inconceivable potencies, body which generates innumerable universes, original source of all incarnations. Krishna, Narayan can give salvation to the enemies he kills, and he, the attractor of liberated souls. No, Krishna has 4 qualities which no one else has, and that is, he's the attractor of liberated souls, performs wonderful activities. Krishna is surrounded by loving devotees. Krishna has an attractive flute, and Krishna's body has exquisite bodily beauty. So, there's the jiva, the living entity, has 50 qualities, and there are the 50 qualities given in nectar devotion. Then 5 qualities are there, which are sometimes manifest in the body of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, some demigods. Then 5 more qualities are listed in the form of Lord Narayan. And Krishna has 4 qualities which only are available in Krishna. And this is Krishna in Golok, in the highest planet. The material world is there, Devi Dham, then there's Mahesh Dham, the abode of Lord Shiva, then there's the Hari Dham, the Vaikuntha planets, and then there's Golok Vrindavan. And the Krishna's abode is Golok Vrindavan. So this is the understanding that Krishna is there in his planet, and at the same time he can manifest himself and come to the material world when there is a decline in religious principles, and when there's acts when the demoniac principles are more prominent. So when Krishna came 5,000 years ago, not everybody knew Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even after Krishna went to Mathura, he met one washerman. And Krishna said to the washerman, you should give us some clothes. Krishna was with his cowherd boys. The washerman said, these clothes are meant for the king, and you boys shouldn't be so impudent to ask for the clothes meant for the king, or the king will punish you. So Krishna didn't tolerate this refusal, but only with his hand, he cut off the washerman's head. And then Krishna and the cowherd boys, they took whatever clothes they wanted. So the washerman didn't have any devotion. He wasn't devoted, so he couldn't recognize who Krishna was. But Krishna went to Kubja, who was a hunchback lady, and she gave him immediately, her job was to make sandalwood for the king. So she was taking the sandalwood to the king, but when she saw Krishna and Balaram, all the cowherd boys, she gave all the sandalwood to Krishna. But she knew who Krishna was. And Krishna then put his foot on her toes and pulled on her cheeks and straightened her up and made her a beautiful lady. She was a hunchback woman, but she had a beautiful face. So Krishna made her a beautiful woman. And later on, Krishna met her again and purified her of all her material desires. So in this way, Krishna came. On the Battle of Kurukshetra, there were 640 million people. And if people who knew who Krishna was died on the battlefield, they went to Vaikuntha. And those who didn't know who Krishna was, or thought Krishna was a great personality, they went to Brahma Yoti. So generally the demons killed by Krishna, they merge into the Brahma Yoti, Shayuja liberation. But Krishna gives liberation to everyone, all the demons he kills. But because the demons don't perform favorable devotional service, if someone is a demon and blasphemes Krishna, then he doesn't get the same result as someone who's a devotee. Devotees go to Golok and enjoy the sweet pastimes of Krishna, where the demons, they go to the Brahma Yoti. Even Putana was an evil witch, and she was sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna. Krishna wasn't even old enough to see properly, and she tried to poison Krishna, but Krishna killed her, and she got liberation. She got the position of according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, she became a nurse in Golok with Aishwarya Bhav. So she didn't exactly attain the same position as a favorable devotee, but she did get Krishna's mercy. So it says when the incarnations of the Lord come, they speak only as much as people can understand. So Jesus Christ came, he said, I have so much more to tell you, but you can't understand it, and you're not ready to hear it. In the same way, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, when Krishna appears in in the Dwapara Yuga, every day of Brahma, and Lord Chaitanya also appears in Kali Yuga. And Lord Chaitanya is the golden avatar. But he comes as bhakti avatar and is disguised as a devotee. So when Lord Chaitanya went to Puri, when he saw Lord Jagannath, he went into ecstasy and he fell unconscious. And he fell on the ground. And the watchmen, they wanted to beat him, not knowing his identity. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was there, and he protected the Lord and took the Lord to his house. And then he laid Lord Chaitanya down on a bed and examined him to see if he was still alive. There was practically no life in his body. So he took a cotton swab and he held it to his nose, and it moved slightly, so he could understand that Lord Chaitanya was experiencing Mahabhav, or the highest form of ecstasy. But still, he didn't understand that Lord Chaitanya was the incarnation, because in the Srimad Bhagavatam it says Tri Yuga, the Lord incarnates only in 3 yugas. That is the Yuga avatars. There's so many different kinds of avatars. There's Yuga avatars, the Mamba avatars, Guna avatar, the Shaktavesh avatar, so Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, is the Yuga avatar, and he came for the purpose of starting the Sankirtan movement and bringing people back. When after Buddha appeared, he taught this non-violence, ahimsa philosophy, and he also taught avoidism, or impersonal philosophy. So then Krishna instructed Lord Shiva to become a Shankaracharya to teach Mayavadi philosophy in the name of the Vedas, to bring people back to the Vedas. But Lord Krishna went. So when Lord Chaitanya came, he came to reestablish the Chinta Veda Veda Tapa philosophy, simultaneously one and different, and to eradicate this Mayavadi philosophy and this idea that everything is one and that you can merge into the Brahman effulgence. This is one type of liberation, but devotees feel that this is a type of spiritual suicide to merge into the Brahman effulgence, because there's no engagement there. This Brahman liberation is like the water in the calf's hoof print compared to devotional service, which gives you 10 million times more pleasure. So devotees don't aspire for any kind of liberation. They just want to serve Krishna. Like Lord Chaitanya said, I don't want women, a beautiful wife, I don't want money, I don't want any followers. All I want is your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. So this is a selfless devotee. He doesn't want anything from the Lord, he only wants service. And devotees are happy to serve the Lord in any condition. So Lord Chaitanya also came to in the mood of Radharani. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nayaya. So he came in the mood of Radharani. He wanted to taste understand Radharani's mood. But this is a very confidential subject matter. So he didn't talk about Krishna and Krishna's activities with the rasa dance and with the gopis to the ordinary people. He only spoke about these confidential matters to his most confidential associates, who were Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, Sika Mahidi, and Sika Mahidi's sister. They were the three most confidential associates of the Lord. Of course, he also had many other advanced disciples, like the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, but he was careful about who he discussed these kind of subject matters, because most people will misunderstand. If there's 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, so Srila Prabhupada said we should read the Srimad Bhagavatam systematically, first canto to the 9th canto. Then we can go to the 10th canto. And Prabhupada wrote the Krishna book, which is a summary of the 10th canto, because he didn't know how much time he had left on the planet and how much he could translate the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the 10th canto, the intimate pastimes of Krishna, the Rasa Leela is described, and Srila Prabhupada also purported that and made it clear that this activity of Krishna, which seemingly is an immoral activity for a common man to have a dance with girls in the dead of night, and dance with married women or any women. But for Krishna, there's no such thing as moral or immoral, because Krishna is transcendental, has transcendental form, and all his activities are transcendental. So Krishna, this Sukadeva Goswami also was careful. He only briefly explained Rasa Leela in the 10th canto, because he knew people would misunderstand it. So Krishna's activities, when he comes, he performs so many activities. And Lord Chaitanya also came, Harinam, 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 Evakevalo, Kaluna Stevana, Stevana, Stevagatya. So the only practice, principle in this age is to chant the holy name. This is Yuga Dharma, to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This Lord Chaitanya came to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. And now this Sankirtan movement is being spread all over the world. Otherwise, everyone in the world is interested in Dharma, Artha, and Kama, Moksha, in religiosity, economic development, sense gratification. And people don't know that they're bound up in the material world, like by hand and foot, and they have to keep going through the cycle, repeated birth and death, and in the 8,400,000 species. So no one knows the real goal of life is to get free from the bondage of material existence. And this is what we're trying to teach people and bring people to Krishna consciousness, to save them from having to take birth again. Lord Chaitanya told his mother when the living entity is in the womb, it's a very painful situation. The living entity in the womb is in a feeling so much distress. And then after 7 months, if the living entity is fortunate, he prays to the Lord that let this be my last birth so I don't have to suffer again in this way. And because he prays the Lord, he's doing service, then he doesn't suffer anymore. But as soon as the living entity comes out of the womb, he forgets that he prayed to the Lord, and then he's entangled again in the three modes of material nature. So in this chapter, it says that one should approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. He can impart knowledge because he's seen the truth. So without a spiritual master, it's not possible to go to Krishna. Like Bhaktisiddhanta says, we shouldn't jump over the horse to eat the grass, which means we shouldn't think we can approach Krishna directly. So when we do the puja for the Lord, first we worship the spiritual master, and with his permission, then we worship Krishna. But Mahari Gupta came to Lord Chaitanya, and he offered obeisances to Lord Chaitanya first, and then Lord Nityananda. But Lord Nityananda was his spiritual master, so Lord Chaitanya chastised him and said, "You made a mistake, Murari." So Murari didn't understand what his mistake was. But then Lord Nityananda appeared to him in a dream and revealed to him his identity. And then the next day, when he went to meet Lord Chaitanya, he offered obeisances to Lord Nityananda first. And this is purport. Bhaktisiddhanta says one should not jump over the horse to eat the grass, which means we shouldn't try to worship Krishna without a spiritual master. So it's always required that one receives initiation, takes the spiritual master, and receives initiation from him. In this way, one's spiritual life begins. Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed of devotional service is implanted in the heart of the devotee, and as that seed gradually grows, it grows until it penetrates the material covering and goes all the way to Goloka Vrindavan, even while the devotee is in the material world. So the principles of Bhagavad-Gita were spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter, to a highly elevated person, because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary people in other parts of the world. In all incarnations, the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher or lower in various circumstances. Thus, the higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the 4 orders and 4 statuses of social life. The whole purpose and mission of incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances. So the principles of Bhagavad Gita, the principle of surrendering to Krishna, this is the highest goal. And this is what we should all do with our lives. Surrender to Krishna, become a surrendered soul, and not have any other interests. Vaipum samparo dharmo, nato bhaktira hoksaje, haitaki pratiyata yenatma suprasidati. Unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. This is what is required. And Premanjana Trita Bhakti Velochanena. One has to smear his eyes with the salve of love, and then one can get the darshan of the Lord. So the Lord appears in his different incarnations and forms. He appeared in the form of his holy name. The holy name incarnated first, and then Lord Chaitanya came. And he also appears in his deity form. One should not think that the deity is made of wood or stone or metal. This is someone who thinks like this. He has a hellish mentality. We only have material eyes, so therefore we can't see Krishna with our material eyes. So Krishna comes by his own mercy, and at the time of when the deities are installed, Pran Pratishta, the Lord agrees to enter that form, so we can worship him in that form. And by devotion, if one has devotion, then we can worship Krishna and his deity form. That's why, so one should not think that deity worship is idol worship. It has nothing to do with idol worship. The deity can manifest himself, Krishna can manifest himself in that form, and he tells us that Patram Pushpam Paloto Yom Yome Bhaktya Prajachati, that he tells us if one offers me with leaf, fruit, flower, water, with devotion, I will accept. So Krishna is not in need of anything. The only thing he needs is our devotion. So the more we advance in Krishna consciousness, the more devoted we are, the more we can appreciate the form of the Lord in his deity form. And the more, therefore, we have our morning program, Mangal Artik, Guru Puja, Darshan Artik, and devotees are very happy to come to see the Lord, how he's dressed very nicely, and how he's being worshipped very nicely. People come from all over the world to Krishna Bala Mandir to see how nicely the deities are being maintained. So this is all due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Says Rupa Goswami says one should not over endeavor for building big buildings, but that doesn't apply to temples. Prabhupada did work very hard to establish Krishna Bala Mandir, worked very hard to establish the temple in Mayapur. He struggled very hard to establish the temple in Mumbai or Bombay, all opposition. So the devotees of the Lord are ready to take all risks and to establish the temple of the Lord. One man came to Mayapur, asked Srila Prabhupada, why did you build this big temple? Prabhupada said, well, if I didn't build this temple, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't come here. But the temple is built for sort of conditioned souls can come here. It's like an oasis, like Vaikuntha. And people come to the temple. Vaikuntha means no anxiety. When people come to the temple, they know it's not the same as any other place. And they feel some peace, some happiness. And if they're fortunate enough, they have some pious credits, they even dance with us and chant with us. And gradually, even though they haven't performed any sadhana, they got some attraction. Even recent last couple days ago, one old man, he was sitting in a chair, an 80-year-old man, listening to kirtan, and then voluntarily he got up from his chair and came over and started dancing for 5 or 10 minutes. He wasn't a devotee, he was an outside man, but he got inspired to dance from some Sukriti he had. So we're making people fortunate by giving them prasadam, by giving them transcendental literatures, by letting them hear the kirtan, so they can understand what human life is meant for. Human life is not simply meant for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's the activity of the animals. But human life is meant for tato brahma jigyasa, to inquire about the absolute truth. So here we can read the Bhagavad-Gita and understand from Krishna himself is speaking Bhagavad-Gita. So he says wherever there's decline in religious practice or descent of Bharta and predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend. To deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So Krishna comes, and then Lord Chaitanya comes. So if you worship Lord Chaitanya, then you can also worship Radha and Krishna. Krishnadas Kaviraj says if you don't accept Lord Chaitanya, then you're an atheist. Even if someone worships Radha and Krishna for 100 years, then he can become qualified to worship Lord Chaitanya. So it's all worship of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Gaurnitai, and Panchatattva. This is also it is also necessary to attain the goal of life, which is Krishna Prema, or love of God, to get the mercy of Radha and Krishna. It's not separate. In Golok Vrindavan, there's Golok, it has different realms. There's Vrindavan, then Mathura, Dwarka, and also Navadvip is there. So the jiva can be in Navadvip and Golok and serve Krishna in his pastimes of sweetness and in the spiritual world. These things, both things simultaneously, one can be in Gaur Lila and Krishna Lila. Well, Krishna demanded surrender, but Lord Chaitanya gave freely, but no other. Namo Mahavandaya, Krishna Prema Padayate, Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya, Namo Gurti Say Namaha. Lord Chaitanya came to give freely love of God to everyone. He didn't make any conditions. So he's considered the most merciful incarnation. So we can hear Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya also explained to Sanatana Goswami about the different kinds of avatars. There are many different kinds of avatars, but Krishna is the original origin of all. Krishna is tu Bhagavan Swayam.